against cash is really a war against us all. But the secret is now out. So please, get and read The Secret War.
Pick up your phone and call right now. 800-932-5517. 800-932-5517. 800-932-5517. Once again, that's 800-932-5517.
Welcome to Picks and Parlays Radio here on the Sports Byline Broadcast Network. I'm your host, Chelsa Messinger. You can find me here every day, 1 Pacific, 4 Eastern, and also on Twitter at Chelsa Messinger is my handle. Also, check us out on all of those social media platforms that you waste time on. If you search Picks and Parlays, we're very easy to find. Usually the first thing that pops up. So even if you're lazy, it's really easy to find us. Today is Monday, September 16th. Hope you had a great weekend. I know it was kind of a wonky weekend when it came to college football. I know the big game on the slate was Iowa State, which I was trying to watch, but it was a rain or thunder or lightning, some kind of weather delay, and I was forced to watch Arizona State, Michigan State, which was an absolute dumpster fire of a game. A lot of underdogs with big wins in college football, including BYU. We'll be talking about their next game today in our college football talk. But just to run things down for you today, segment 1, we're doing NFL Week 3 opening lines and a little bit of Monday Night Football, that game between the Browns and the Jets, which I've mentioned dumpster fire in this segment already, but you could call that one along the same lines because the Jets have a lot of injuries, including their quarterback, Sam Darnold, who's out with mono, of all things. We'll take a look at that line and see if it accurately reflects his absence or if they're overcompensating. Second segment, we're doing baseball with Sean Higgs because we do have 2 weeks left in the regular season of baseball and still plenty of ways to win money on a daily basis. And then finally, college football with Tony T. We've got 3 games to look at, including the Thursday night game, Houston at Tulane. And over the weekend, well, it was a rough start to the season for quarterbacks. The big news today, of course, Steelers quarterback Ben Roethlisberger is now out for the season. He needs elbow surgery. And then Saints quarterback Drew Brees expected to miss 6 weeks after tearing a ligament in his hand. So some tough news for fans of those teams. When we get back from the break, we're talking NFL Week 3 opening lines here on Picks and Parlays Radio. Stick with us after the break.
You're in charge of hiring, and Indeed has solutions, like online skills tests, which let a candidate show that they're the right hire. We'll also have a dolphin chatter excitedly in front of the perfect candidate. Okay, there's no dolphin. But skills tests, that's a for sure.
See why independent research by Silk Road shows Indeed delivers 3 times more hires than any other job site. Visit Indeed.com/promo today and get a free sponsored job upgrade on your first posting. Terms, conditions, and exclusions apply.
It's summertime once again, which means pool parties, barbecues, and relaxation, but it also means home projects, which aren't much fun. So why not let Home Advisor take them off your hands? From minor repairs to major remodels, Home Advisor will connect you with top-rated pros in your area, letting you get back to summer fun. The pros have been reviewed by your neighbors so you can see what others thought of their work. And if you're not sure how much your project should cost, get multiple quotes from pros and use Home Advisor's Project Cost Guide to see what others paid for similar projects. And to top it all off, you can book appointments online, no more phone tag. Home Advisor makes it beyond easy to get your home projects done, so don't wait. Get those projects done now and make the most of your summer. To find the right pro at a fair price, just ask Home Advisor. Go to homeadvisor.com or download the free award-winning Home Advisor app today.
O'Reilly.
It's
O'Rewards Member Appreciation Month at O'Reilly Auto Parts, where you can earn bonus points on more than 250 offers. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts store today or browse through our offers at O'ReillyAuto.com, where you can earn double points shopping online. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better prices every day.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Money Now 100 is not a lender, broker, or agent of any lender or financial advisor. We do not make loans or credit decisions. You must be 18 years or older and a U.S. resident to qualify. This is not an offer or solicitation to lend. I went to MoneyNow100.com and got the $5,000 I needed deposited in my account the next business day. If you need money for any reason, help is here. Go to MoneyNow100.com and get the money you need. Need to pay off credit card debt? Go to MoneyNow100.com. Need your car repaired? Need home improvement money? Visit MoneyNow100.com. If you need fast cash for any reason, go to MoneyNow100.com. Good, bad, or no credit at all. Go to MoneyNow100.com. You could get up to $5,000 as soon as the next business day. Go to MoneyNow100.com on your phone, tablet, or computer. Type in the address bar MoneyNow100.com. That's MoneyNow100.com.
And we are back here on this Monday afternoon on Picks and Parlays Radio on the Sports Byline Broadcast Network, and also streaming live on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook if you're watching that way. Hello. I'm waving hello to you guys. Let's start off the show today with our NFL opening line report for Week 3. We've got Craig Trapp joining us. Craig, how was your weekend?
Not the best weekend I ever had when it comes to handicapping. I had seems like every tough loss yesterday, every tough loss on Saturday right at the end went against me. But, that's just part of this business, and you have to put it behind you, turn the page, and start winning tonight and in the future.
Right. You got to play the long game. Let's talk about this opening line report. We've probably seen some big changes in some of the lines because of these quarterback injuries, with Big Ben being out for the rest of the season and Drew Brees expected to miss at least 6 weeks. Are those some of the big movements you've been seeing, or are there other games that have had notable movement?
Well, those are the biggest two line moves. Pittsburgh at San Francisco, obviously, like you said, Big Ben, elbow surgery, out for the year. Went from a pick'em game to now San Francisco favored at home by 7. The total also moved down from 46.5 to 45.5, and I think both of those are justified after what we've seen really in Pittsburgh so far, and really San Francisco's looked pretty good so far.
Right, Pittsburgh has not looked good even with Big Ben. Their offense has looked stagnant at times, and they're really missing, I think, Antonio Brown, just his presence, like I've mentioned before. Even if he's not making plays, he's at least a decoy. And Juju is now the #1 receiver, and he's probably getting the #1 corner, DB, #1 defender, and that's a tough transition to make. Let's talk about the other ones. Browns, Jets. Have we seen that line move because of Sam Darnold being out with mono?
Yes, and that game is, of course, for tonight, for the end of Week 2 in Monday Night Football. We have seen this line move from, I think it was the opening line. Yeah, opening line was 2.5 by Cleveland with a total of 45.5. Now everybody has it at 6.5 and 45.5 still. So I was kind of surprised. I kind of thought this might move to the key number of 7, but it didn't. It hasn't quite got there, and I don't see the juice getting too high. So I don't expect this game to move off that 6.5 number before game time tonight.
Do you think that line movement is justified? Because Sam Darnold, he has a high ceiling, but he's certainly not Drew Brees or Ben Roethlisberger.
Yeah, but I mean, Cleveland, even though they did not look good last week, they had a ton of momentum as far as the betting public headed into this week. So I think if they didn't move this line immediately, they would have gotten so much action right away on Cleveland that they probably wouldn't have been able to move the line enough to keep the action close to even.
So you think that line movement's not just because of Sam Darnold being out, but more that Cleveland was not getting as much credit as I guess they were due?
Right. I mean, I think this line would have moved to 3 either way, maybe even that 3.5 number. I just think home dogs on Monday night get a lot of respect. And even I see a lot of people, a lot of the public I've seen out on some of the forums today and in our groups over at Facebook. And talking how much they like the Jets as an underdog here. Even some people like them outright. So I think they're getting pretty equal action here. I don't think that line's going to move. And we'll give a free pick after we talk about some of these other line movements for Week 3.
All right, so let's talk about some of these other line movements. I would imagine the Dolphins have to be one after, I think I saw the stat that they're getting outscored 102-12, something like that. They've just been absolutely blown out. And granted, they've played two good teams in the Patriots and the Ravens, but man, can they keep this up?
Well, they're on a historic bad pace. I mean, most teams don't start tanking, or what they call tanking in the NFL, until like week 10, 11. No, they're starting week 1. And we've seen this line. This line opened at 16. Miami's at the Cowboys this week, and now it's all the way to 21. I see a lot of juice here on this one. I expect this one to maybe even come off that 21 number. And last week we saw this one was one of the bigger line movements, and I don't see anything slowing this one down, as Miami is just really bad right now.
Speaking of teams that looked really bad going into the season, the Cardinals actually were pretty close with the Ravens this weekend, which was surprising to a lot of people just because the Ravens have been so good and they're considered one of the better teams in these first few weeks of the NFL. Do you see the Cardinals line moving any?
No, I think this week, it's going to, it's right now it's Arizona opened at 2.5. I do think it'll stay pretty close to that number. I don't see the total moving either in this one. So I'd say Arizona, what they did look good is they can really, they can pass the ball, the shorter intermediate routes. And I think that's going to be good against a Carolina team that did not look great defending the shorter passes. So I don't think it'll move above that 3 line. And I think Arizona's a live dog this week, and the total here at 46.5. Of course, they're hosting Carolina this week. Like we didn't mention the other line for that New Orleans at Seattle, which was, of course, the Drew Brees thumb injury, and he's going to be out for at least 6 weeks, they said. That went from a pick-em to at Seattle is favored by 4.5, and the total went from 50 to 45.5. So those are the two big injuries with the two, of course, future Hall of Fame quarterbacks this week.
Where do you see the Saints in the absence of Drew Brees? Because their situation is a little more interesting because they do have Teddy Bridgewater, who's getting paid $7 million this year. So he's a nice little insurance policy for them that they should have some faith in. He's a pretty decent quarterback, and they do have Taysom Hill. It's just different styles of quarterback. It's definitely, obviously, you're never going to replace Drew Brees, but they do have a serviceable backup. Do you like the Saints still with all the talent around the quarterback position?
I like them in this one. I think this is way too big line movement. The number one backup quarterback as far as pay was Teddy Bridgewater. Good thing they did that. Also, like you said, Hall of Fame coach Sean Payton and Taysom Hill will take some, of course, some pressure off him because he can play in pretty much any position. And I just think this is way too much. I thought it should be about 3. And I think I still would give New Orleans. I think New Orleans is a really good team. They have a ton of talent. They can really run the ball. I think Seattle's looked good, but not great. I mean, remember, they had to hold on without Big Ben for the whole second half and almost lost that game at Pittsburgh after being up early. I think New Orleans is a live dog this week.
Right, and I think Seattle, they didn't cover against the Bengals, did they?
No, the Bengals, had a shot late to even win outright. So that's, to me, I just don't think they've looked good against, I think, 2 average team. The Bengals obviously look terrible this week. The Steelers have not looked good in either of their games. At least you could say definitely didn't look good against New England. So I think New Orleans is the better team here, and I think they're a live dog.
Right. I thought that Saints-Rams game, that was really fun to watch. I don't know if some of the Saints defenders just couldn't tackle well, but some of the Rams receivers, after the catch, that was really fun to watch. I just forgot his name. Cooper Kupp. They had several guys that made incredible plays. That was a fun game to watch, especially if you didn't have any money on it, which I didn't. So it was actually fun to watch.
And that's too bad Drew Brees went down in that one, because that one would have been a lot closer game, a much different outcome if Drew Brees and or if Teddy Bridgewater had a full week of practice to come into it. So, but the other 2 big line moves, just to get to it. So the Giants at Tampa Bay moved from 4 to 6.5. Which isn't a surprise, of course, with the news that Eli Manning isn't guaranteed to start this week. So who knows what's going to happen there. Denver at Green Bay. Interesting move from 6.5 to 8. So off the key number of through the key number of 7. Kind of surprising, even though Green Bay has looked good the first 2 weeks on defense. Off that key number is pretty tough against a very good Green Bay or a very good Denver defense.
Right, I was going to say Denver's defense has at least looked really good. We've got a minute and a half left. Let's talk this Monday Night Football game. Browns-Jets. Jets are the dogs in this one by quite a bit. Who are you taking?
This one, my top plays on the side tonight, so you can get that, of course, at picksandparlays.net. But I do think the under is a very good play tonight. The under's at 45.5. Just remember, before the Browns allowed all those points late, it was basically because they were turning the ball over. Jets defense looked really good last week. I think the under here is a very, very solid play. Let's take the under 45.5 as our free play. And don't forget, you can get my best play over at picksandparlays.net on the side.
Just a couple other notes for that game. C.J. Mosley and Quinnen Williams both out for the Jets defense, so keep that in mind. C.J. Mosley, a big part of their defense. When we come back from the break, we'll talk baseball because there's plenty of baseball left to win money on. We're back after the break on Picks and Parlays Radio.
Travelers, do you want to save money on your next flight? Then pick up the phone and call. That's right, call, because the best prices are not online. They're with SmartFares. See, SmartFares has special deals with the airlines. When they have unsold seats, they use SmartFares to fill them. So you get airline tickets at ridiculously low prices. Our prices are too low to publish online. With the extra money you'll save, you can book another trip, or treat yourself to dinner or shopping. So stop searching all of those travel sites to find the lowest price on your next flight. Let one of our SmartFares expert travel agents find ridiculously low prices for you. Call SmartFares today and get the best price on your next flight. Guaranteed. Also, save up to 50% off business and first-class tickets.
855-325-1780. 855-325-1780. That's 855-325-1780.
Imagine this is your money and someone wants to take it from you. Who is it? The IRS. They want your money, and guess what? They can legally take it, all of it if they want. Remember, they sent you that letter that said, hey, you owe us a bunch of cash and we're going to take it from you. So what do? Fight back by letting our team of experts at the Tax Helpline work it out with the IRS so you can keep your money. And we're good at what we do. When you hire us, you get a team of guys on your side that know the IRS laws and will fight to save your money. So, if you owe the IRS a ton of cash and you want to keep it, call right now and learn for free how we can help you put it back in your pocket.
800-932-1749. 800-932-1749. 800-932-1749. That's 800-932-1749.
This is an urgent health notice for all residents suffering from back, neck, knee, and wrist pain. You may qualify for a pain-relieving brace at little or no cost to you, but the deadline is fast approaching. Simply call the Health Alert Hotline now.
You heard right. You may qualify for a pain-relieving back, neck, knee, or wrist brace. These items may even be covered by Medicare or your private insurance. The Health Alert Hotline is your brace company. These specialized braces have been tested for pain relief. Call us toll-free right now to determine your eligibility and to learn how to use your private insurance or Medicare to minimize your out-of-pocket cost. Don't wait. If the deadline passes, you may lose your opportunity to get a pain-relieving back, neck, knee, or wrist brace at little or no cost to you.
800-430-9571. 800-430-9571. 800-430-9571. That's 800-430-9571.
And we are back here on Picks and Parlays Radio on the Sports Byline Broadcast Network and also streaming live on Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook, all of those social media platforms. And if you want to join us that way, search Picks and Parlays on any of those, and you should find us pretty easily. Right now, let's get to some baseball because it's still baseball season. We still have 2 weeks left in the regular season and still a lot of interesting games that you can make money on. We've got Sean Higgs joining us. Hello, Sean. I like your shirt.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much, Chelsea.
I need to get me one of those.
I like your necklace.
I knew. Everybody said something today. God forbid I accessorize. How was your weekend?
I was going to accessorize with my gold necklace.
How was your weekend? How were your bets?
College football was great, 7-1. Had a nice college football run. Yeah, had a big college football day. NFL split out, but I did hit my top play on the Rams, and also Denver got there. So small winning day there, even though it was a 500 day. But it's a grind. What are you gonna do?
You don't sound that enthused for a decent weekend, because I feel like a lot of people lost money on college football this weekend.
No, college was pretty good to me. NFL though, I had the Vikings. I was high on the Vikings, and that's a game they should have won. At worst, a push on that at worst. You get a stupid penalty, and it backs you out of going for two. Just, they outplayed Green Bay the entire game except for the first 10 minutes. So that's, you take a bad loss like that's annoying. I had the Steelers, and, that's all right. You lose Roethlisberger, but they just couldn't get Seattle off the field. That's just a couple games. If you're going to have a super year and hit like a 70 or 75% clip, you gotta get lucky on a couple of those things. And I just didn't get the break. So it looks like it's going to be another grind amount 60%er. And I'm just down on that. You want to, I put a game out. I think it's a winner, no doubt. So when you have a tough game and it loses, it sucks the life out of it. Even off a good day of college, where my own loss at college was Alabama. And
that didn't cover.
But 11 seconds.
And that was a garbage time touchdown.
So that's, you go down like that. It's one day. Every day is a new day. You got to put it behind you, move on. We got a little baseball tonight. We got the Monday Night Football game. We got lines already up for week 3 and 4 of NFL and college. So, time to move on. It'll be a good week.
Yeah, I don't think you should be so down on yourself. It sounds like you did all right. You did better than Craig, it sounds like.
It's not the job. You just listen. If I'm going to lose, just lose. But to lose in a bad way, just on stupidness.
Right.
And when you're out playing some, that's just those are just tough ones to swallow. That's why I try not to watch the games. I'll go through the box scores and look at things afterwards. I can't sit and watch them. That's not.
It's funny how you remember those bad beats when you're on the losing side, but you forget about them when they're on the winning side. And you're like, oh, piece of cake. That's how I thought it was going to be drawn up.
Yeah, like a win is a win, whether it's by a half a point or 40. I just figure that's a win. I don't care how it gets there. But the losses you remember every loss. That's for sure.
Of course. All right, so let's move on to our topic of baseball. Let's start off with the Padres at the Brewers. The Brewers are favorited in this one, minus 155. Garrett Richards is making his Padres debut after coming off of Tommy John surgery for the Padres. So that means he's been gone for a little less than 14 months. So interesting start for him. He is limited to 60 to 65 pitches. He's going against Zach Davies of the Brewers, 9-7, 3.77 ERA. Initial thoughts on this one?
Well, this time of year, you get a lot of big lines now because teams have all but given up, and you got teams in the hunt like here with Milwaukee. And 155 is usually 160. This is about the top tiers I'm going to go with favorites. But I have to like Milwaukee here. 1, they're a game back in wild card. 3 back at St. Louis for the division. A game back at the Cubbies. 9-10 and 13 of the last 17 winners in their pocket. Big game for them. You have to knock out San Diego. You said Garrett to the Hill here off Tommy John surgery. His 5 starts in the minors coming into us a 10.60 ERA, 9 innings, 12 hits, 12 runs, 13 walks and 11 Ks. So, and I can't get behind that kind of pitching. He's going to get shelled in 4 innings. Brewers a big lead. And again, this is playoff baseball. They want to do something. You got to crush a bad pitcher like this and a team that's basically out of the playoff hunt. So the Brewers here, it's the only way I can look at it to get it done.
Well, if you're looking from that standpoint, the Brewers certainly do have something to play for. Only 3 games back from the Cardinals for the division and 1 game back from the Cubs for the second wild card in the National League. So they're definitely playing for something. And as you mentioned, they're really hot right now. They've won 9 of 10, as you said. And also yesterday, they had a 7-6 win over the Cardinals with a grand slam coming from Ryan Braun, which is big considering that Christian Yelich is now out for the season. That's a big blow to their lineup. But it's nice to see how their players have stepped up in his absence. Any other thoughts on this one? Other lines or sides you'd consider?
Well, possibly the over here at 9. The Brewers bullpen is shaky, so Davies, who knows what he's going to give us, 5-6 innings. So I can see an over possibly being a play because, as you said, you hit a nice grand slam, a big win over your division rivals in St. Louis, a team you despise. So, maybe they're a little flat, I guess. I mean, I don't see how you're flat when you're 13 or 14 and you're playing for the postseason. But, stranger things has happened, so there could be some runs scored here. I just don't think Garrett Richards could give us anything out of the Padres side of the ball. So that's why I'm leaning on the Brewers to win the game outright here anyway, without the run line or anything else. But if you want to look at the run line, the total a little bit, I could see that going over just based on maybe they're a little flat off that big series and they could, Padres could put a couple runs up. But otherwise, I think the Brewers get it done easily.
Right, and the Padres pitching staff has just given up 30 combined runs. Maybe it was even more than that. Oh, it was at least 10 runs in each of their last 3 games against the Rockies, which obviously it's hard to pitch well in Denver, but still a lot of runs. So who are you taking in that one, the Brewers?
Brewers. Brew Crew, and I think it's up to that 160 now, so it's creeping up. I think people are wise to the red hotness of Milwaukee.
All right, let's move on to the White Sox and the Twins. The Twins are still playing meaningful baseball. They are in the lead when it comes to the AL Central. The White Sox, not so much. Kind of out of it. They've got Reynaldo Lopez on the mound for them today. 9-13, 5.35 ERA. He is 0-3 with a 7.47 ERA at Target Field this season, so not a place he likes going. Jose Barrios on the mound for the Twins, 12-8, 3.63 ERA. He had a nice little bounce back outing last week against the Nationals, 7 scoreless, because before that he was having a bit of a rough patch. But who you like in this one?
So you say he's had 7 scoreless coming in, and his ERA is still a 6.64 his last 7 starts. So that's why they pushed this guy back. Maybe he's getting a little winded. He's still young. Maybe stretching out his arm a little bit. I can't lay 230 with the Twins. Even the 125 on a run line is an iffy proposition for me. I'm looking at the over 9.5, simply because Barrios, he could be tired. He had a good outing grade, but they did sit him. He gets an extra day's rest. The 6.64 ERA last 7 starts. That tells me he's hit. People are hitting him. The White Sox are a scrappy bunch. Not that they're going to mail it in, but they're going to want to be a little bit respectable here. The players still have contracts and incentives for them to achieve. And Lopez, as you said, a 7.47 ERA here at Target. His last 7, a 5.6 ERA and a 2.80 batting average against. That's terrible. The Twins crank out home runs on a record hit pace as the Yankees do. So the 9.5 here, the Omega goes the over. I can't lay 230 on a fave here with a guy with a 6 ERA the last 2 months of baseball. That's definitely out of the picture. So over 9.5 is where we're leaning tonight.
Right, and the White Sox have had a bit of control issues when it comes to their rotation and their bullpen. They have the 3rd highest walk rate in all of baseball, which kind of spells trouble when, as you mentioned, the Twins are a home run hitting team, because if you give some free passes, that's base runners, and that means 2 or 3 run bombs from the Bomba Squad, the Twins.
The Bomba Squad, I like that.
That's what they call themselves.
Well, you talk about the walk rate of the bullpens and stuff like that, but it's just a league-wide problem. The pitching, you talk about not having great starting quarterbacks in the NFL. The pitching in Major League Baseball is as bad. I think that's as bad as the problem. I mean, you really only have. Well, have
you heard about this little problem called juiced balls? It's a thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, but you still have some good pitchers who are still pretty solid. I mean, these mediocre pitchers are just get hammered. It's terrible. Like what's the answer to that? Contraction? They're going to get rid of 6 teams, which would be the only way to maybe make the league a little more competitive, because it just seems you have half the teams tanking. I mean, you have a team in every division that is so far out of it, it's a joke, you know?
Well, I mean, that's normal baseball. I think that it's like that every year. You have a couple teams that are losing 100 games a season, and the Astros were like that not even too long ago. So, I mean, you can rebuild, and it's not all bad, but it's just the way baseball is. It's not like football where it's meaningful games every week, and the parity is a little different because some of these teams, their salary cap, I mean, there's not a salary cap. These teams can spend a whole lot more, and that's why we see a lot of these teams.
I just, even with a team like the Dodgers, they got bullpen issues. They're not like a solid bull. It's just a lot of mediocre and guys who just get hot every once in a while. I don't know. It's just the bullpens are, especially this year with the home run ball, the overs are just out of control.
Right. All right, real quick, we've got 40 seconds. Mets, Rockies.
Over. Mets at home is great. 1.94 ERA. Listen, on the road though, 2.91 batting average against. He's terrible on the road. And you mentioned the Padres at Colorado. 15 runs, 21, 18, and 13 these games in Colorado. So again, bad bullpens. You got some home run hitters. 13.5. It's like the old days back here with Dante Bichette and Galarraga at the helm. Ellis Burks days for Colorado.
All right, we've got to wrap it up. That's our baseball segment. We're back after the break with college football.
How's the house coming along? Needs a ton of work. The pipes are leaking. Needs a new roof. The AC just broke. I just don't have time to do it all myself. You know anyone?
Oh, just ask Home Advisor. They match you with the best local pros for any home project.
Cool.
Yeah, you can read reviews and book appointments online.
What's it cost?
Actually, Home Advisor is always free to use.
Nice. I'll check it out.
Go to homeadvisor.com or download the free app.
Want to fly somewhere? Looking for cheap flights or cheap tickets? Then call. That's right. Call the low-cost airline travel hotline now for prices so low we can't publish them anywhere. Low-cost airlines has all kinds of cheap travel deals. Fly domestically and save up to 75%. You can even fly internationally and save even more. Yes, fly anywhere in the world and save a lot of money on your plane tickets. We'll even save you money with cheap travel deals on hotels, rental cars, even complete travel packages. So don't book your tickets until you call us first for the absolute cheapest prices on U.S. and international airline tickets and hotels. Call right now for prices so low they can't be published. Travel experts are here 24/7 to help. 800-754-4531. 800-754-4531. 800-754-4531. That's 800-754-4531.
Attention to anyone that's written a book or wants to write a book. The process is not that complicated. Take a first step. Even if you write a page a day, you'll build momentum and your book will become a reality. The hard part is getting it published. That's when you need to call Page Publishing. They've got hundreds and hundreds of thank yous from different new authors, just like you. They make the process of publishing your new book and getting it sold online a simple process. You can learn how simple it is right now by calling for your free Page Publishing New Author Submission Kit. One quick 3-minute phone call, that's all it takes to get free information and learn how you can get your book published. Pick up your phone right now and call us 24 hours a day at this number. 800-603-0885. 800-603-0885. 800-603-0885. That's 800-603-0885.
Hey.
Hey, Bench, what are you doing?
I'm rubbing my Blue Emu on.
Were you ready to go fishing?
Fishing?
You said we were going fishing this morning.
I have 10 Gold Glove awards.
Here we go again.
Johnny Bench doesn't go fishing.
Yeah, I know.
Johnny Bench goes catching. Blue Emu supports healthy muscles and joints. Blue Emu. It works fast and you won't stink. Available at nationwide retailers and Amazon.
Welcome back to Picks and Parlays Radio here on the Sports Byline Broadcast Network, and also streaming live on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. If you search Picks and Parlays, we're really easy to find if you want to tune in that way. Right now, let's get to some college football because it's a lot of fun stuff happening in college football. And despite this weekend where a lot of people lost some money, there are some people who are winning. Tony, how are you? How'd you do this weekend when it came to college football?
Well, a little bit of mixed results. I was happy with my performance on our Rapid Fire Thursday, going 5-1. But my premiums, well, just 1-2. USC and Alabama defense let me down. The garbage touchdown. And of course, USC, Chelsa, they're just not at the level of the Utes and Huskies in the Pac-12. But I like the offensive coordinator in Graham Harrell, but the defense just needs to be better. I thought Keaton Clovis telegraphed his passes. And remember, he's a freshman. I do see upside from this Trojans offense, but I think there will be a coaching change. Wouldn't be surprised if they pursue Jack Del Rio in the offseason.
Always interesting stuff at USC. Hopefully they don't do it to Clay Helton like they did Lane Kiffin and do it at the airport.
No, I think they would let him play it out.
All right, so let's get to some of these games. Let's start with the Thursday game, Houston-Tulane. Houston is 1-2, but they have covered as underdogs in both of those losses. Tulane is 2-1 with their one loss, coming to Auburn on the road 24-6. Initial thoughts, and what's the line on this one?
Yeah, well, the line opened at 3. I went to the gym, came back, and I saw the line moved to Tulane -5. So, and then the total here at 60.5. I can understand that. Tulane is an experienced defensive team, and I do like the Tulane side here at -5. They've shown well holding opponents at 276 yards a game. But Chelsea, it's the line play from Tulane. The offensive, defensive line, very good. You know, they held Auburn to just 24 points. That was a pretty good defensive showing. They have shown good movement of the football. They run the ball for 256 yards a game, averaging nearly 6 yards a carry. And that's Houston's weakness is run defense. And Houston's passing offense just not getting off here. They are a bit inexperienced here, but I'm definitely looking here at the Tulane side.
Right. You mentioned that Auburn game. Tulane held Auburn to 20 yards of rushing in the first half. And I don't know if you attribute that to Auburn just being off to a slow start, because as we've mentioned on the show before, sometimes Auburn can play down to their competition, but still, as a matter of size, when it comes to the trenches, that's pretty impressive because that's an SEC team. And just to compete and hold that O-line to that many rushing yards, pretty impressive.
Yeah, and that goes back to Willie Fritz, how he's building up those lines there, a line play there for Tulane. And, well, Houston, 1-2 coming off that home loss to Washington State, really a sloppy game. But, what gets me here with Houston is their issues defensively. They get up nearly 500 yards a game, allowing nearly 5.5 yards a carry on the ground. And, of course, they are an inexperienced defense with only 4 starters back. And in the passing game, which was supposed to be a strength, only 55% completion rate. So I see Tulane at home here being able to cover this one.
What about Houston? What are some of the things that might be a cautionary tale when betting against Houston, because they have played some close games? Their last game, Washington State, a 31-24 loss in which they covered. Are there any threats from Houston you see?
Yeah, I'm looking here at Derek King, the quarterback. An experienced quarterback, can make plays with his feet. Again, the issue I have with him this year is the fact that he just hasn't been accurate with the football. And even against Prairie View, it wasn't even an FCS school. They didn't really showcase a lot of offense there. But I really think here that looking at this Tulane side, I think they have the benefit here right there at the line play, offensive and defensive line. And I think Tulane should be able to control the line of scrimmage.
Also, something for Tulane, almost no starters played in the second half in their last game, so they should be fresh despite a short week. Meanwhile, Houston had that close game with Washington State where all of their starters were definitely playing because it was a close game.
That's true. And, of course, sometimes when you have a defense like Houston, you could make offensive like Tulane look really good. And that's usually what happens with Houston, who really hasn't really, they haven't stopped anybody here for the past several seasons.
Right. All right, let's move on to Tennessee and Florida. It's the third Saturday in September, and that's a big rivalry game. It used to be a lot closer, but now it seems like Florida is running the table. They've won 13 of the last 14 against the Vols. Not great for the Vols. And, of course, Tennessee's had a tough season so far with losses to Georgia State and BYU. They did win this week against Chattanooga. But I know Florida's favored by 14. any way Tennessee covers in this one?
Well, of course, if Florida makes mistakes, I think in this game, the site really matters. Playing there in the swamp of Florida. I have to look at the Florida side here, laying the 14. The total here is at 50. I really don't have much opinion on the total. Of course, the Gators do lose their quarterback, Felipe Franks, for the season. But there were question marks about Franks even winning the job coming into the season because there were a couple other quarterbacks that were vying for the job. One of them is a backup in Kyle Trask, who engineered that wild comeback in a 29-21 win against Kentucky. And Kentucky, a team that was supposed to be rebuilding, but they look like they have some quality there, even though missing their starting quarterback. But Trask, a pocket presence. He was 9 of 13, 126 yards in the win. And of course, the junior signal caller did see some limited work last year. But again, you look at the defensive side of the football, Gators very good. Volunteers have struggled this year. Home losses to Georgia State, giving up 38 points. And then, of course, that overtime loss to BYU. Volunteers very inexperienced on the offensive line. Again, this is a game where I think it's going to be decided here on the lines. Florida's defensive line just stronger than Tennessee.
I'd honestly be interested to hear what Florida fans think about Felipe Franks not playing, because obviously we never root for anybody to get hurt. But Felipe Franks has been a bit of a roller coaster. Sometimes he shows all this talent and potential, and then other times he's throwing picks in the end zone that are really bad. Do you think Kyle Trask is that much of a downgrade?
Don't think so. The word here on Felipe Franks is in the step-up games and the big games, he's come up short. I think that's what really frustrated Florida Gator fans, is for them to get to that next level. They need a quarterback that can take them there. When I see it with Trask here, I think he's got definitely the arm strength to help them here. But in this game here, I just look at the fact that Tennessee just have a lot of problems here. When you give up 38 points to Georgia State, it tells me there's some problems there on the offensive line. The defensive line just giving up a lot of yardage there. And I think this is where, the site matters here. I think Florida coming with some momentum off that nice comeback win last week with the backup coming in and lead them to victory. I think they can use that here to get the win and cover.
Okay, so I've got to ask, do you think those losses are as bad as they look for UT? Because at least for BYU, BYU beat USC this weekend.
That is true, but the loss by Tennessee was at home. And the BYU game they were at home for that one. Of course, the USC using a freshman quarterback, but I think it hurts more, especially there in SEC country, for recruiting. There's a recruiting war in that part of the country, as you know. That's not going to look good when you're out there trying to bring in talent for Tennessee. If facing the likes of the Alabamas, the Georgias, and all the good teams there in the SEC. But I think that loss is going to hurt. I think in the situation there with USC, I think everybody knows a coaching change is imminent, and I think USC will be able to recover from that loss.
Something I also worry about Tennessee on their side is the mental aspect, because Florida has really dominated them. Tennessee hasn't beaten UF in Gainesville since 2003. That was a long time ago. And if you remember, I'm from Nashville, so I have a lot of UT fans around me. Peyton Manning never beat Florida in his storied career at Tennessee, so it seems like Florida really has Tennessee's number.
Yeah, they do, and they just haven't really been able to recover. You go back to when Peyton Manning was quarterback back then, they haven't really been a dominant football team for some time now, and you would think after several coaching changes, things would turn around for them. But remember that Lane Kiffin situation there didn't help the team either. But I just see some upside with this Florida Gator team, and I think the quarterback change may help them because it takes a lot of the pressure off them, because they always say, well, you really can't get over the top of Felipe Franks. Well, now you got your guy Kyle Trask in here, who's a pocket passer with a presence in there, and maybe he can be the one to get them into the SEC title game.
Right. The only thing that concerns me about laying 14 points with Florida, 4 of the last 5 meetings have been decided by 10 points or fewer. Granted, last year was 47-21, so not a close game. But do you worry about 14 points being too much?
Now, you always worry about that. But the thing here is, if I was on the underdog in this game, I'd rather have Tennessee at home. I just think, like I said in the beginning, I think the site really matters in this game for a struggling Tennessee team. Just the emotion share of the team coming off that spirited win at Kentucky, which was a fight. I mean, they were fighting life and death in that fourth quarter. They get the win over against a Kentucky team that showed better than they thought they would. This was supposed to be a rebuilding team for the Wildcats, but they showed very well in that game. I was very impressed with how that team looked. And, of course, the Gators making that fourth quarter comeback. I just think they're going to carry that momentum into this one.
All right, should be an interesting game. Let's move on to Washington at BYU. Washington favored -5.5 in this one. They're 2-1 on the season. Coming off this week, a win over Hawaii, 52-20, where they did cover. BYU, of course, had that win over Tennessee and a win over USC. So tough competition on the schedule for BYU. Their first game of the season, they played a really tough Utah team. They did lose 30-12, but they won 2 games as outright underdogs. They won them outright. So where are you leaning on this one?
BYU and Washington. Washington opened a 6.5-point favorite. It's come down to 5.5 with a total of 49. You know, Washington did rebound after that loss to California with a nice win to Hawaii. But really, I'm going to look here at the side with Washington Huskies -5.5. I put Washington up at that elite category with Utah in the Pac-12 conference. I think USC is sort of a middling team. Offense an upside, defense an issue. But I think this Huskies team, especially this Chris Peterson team, he will have these Huskies ready to play. And remember, they have allowed 18 points a game or fewer the past 3 seasons and into this season. So the defense has really shown up for the Huskies. This is a totally different program than USC. Right. Washington defends, USC talks about it, but they don't do it. So BYU is going to face a team that's going to be really strong on both sides of the football, offensive and defensive lines. I think they're going to wear them down a little bit. This is kind of a tough emotional letdown here. You got the coach, you know, doing rap dancing in his locker room. Everyone's feeling good about themselves. They're high and mighty. This sets up kind of like one of those college basketball emotional letdowns, one of those tear down the goalpost games. Well, I think this can happen to BYU where they suffer a bit of a letdown in this one.
Well, BYU has had an emotional season so far. They had the Holy War, and then they had 2 really, really close games over big opponents that they were not supposed to win over. So I'm just wondering if their mental juices just run out.
That's possible, too. And, you know, I can't get that game against Utah out of my mind. I mean, this was a well-coached team. Let's face it, I think Utah and Washington are in a collision course to meet for the Pac-12 title game again this year. And I just can't get that game out of my mind where Utah just kind of dominate the BYU Cougars. And I think Washington comes in off that, good defensive team. And remember, Cougars were helped a little bit by USC in that game. You know, the freshman quarterback with 3 interceptions. Let's face it, he was telegraphing his passes. And, the Cougars' defense better than USC's defense. I think that's where you see the difference.
Right, and I think
also,
people
the Cougars, the Cougars, they're not stopping the run. And that's what that concerns me here, because if Washington gained 5 yards a carry, it opens up their offense. And when you look at the Cougars, they're not running the ball very effectively. And I don't like being in down and distance against a Chris Peterson defense.
Right. As you mentioned, Washington was a hot team to win the Pac-12 this season. So a lot of hype and a lot of talent with that team. So I see why people like Washington here. Do you see it being a close game, though? Because 5.5, I mean, it's some points.
Yeah,
it's not a huge spread.
I'm kind of going against the money because it opened at 6.5. So there are some people betting. The professionals are betting on BYU this week. Because it went from 6.5 to 5.5 today. And there are some believers on that BYU Cougars team. But I look at the Washington side mainly because I think it's not the same program as USC. They're still ahead of USC. And again, as you said, they've been involved in a lot of emotional games, has Utah, but again, I should say BYU, but again, I just can't get that Utah game out of my mind here. Utah was able to beat BYU in a rivalry game in BYU.
All right, those are college football picks. As always, thanks Tony T for joining us. We're back after the break on Picks and Parlays Radio.
It has been said that everyone has a book in them, but do you have the time or the ability to write your book? Maybe you picked up some skills or had a life experience that you want to pass on in the form of a book to help others. Maybe you want to leave an autobiography for your family, or maybe you've built a successful business and you want to share your story. At Dorrance Publishing Company, we have professional writers who can help turn your book idea into a finished manuscript quickly and affordably. A Dorrance ghostwriter can provide as much or as little help as you need to complete your book. You'll work directly with your ghostwriter to finish your book faster than you ever could on your own. It's easy to become a published author. Call Dorrance now to learn more. 800-485-6003. 800-485-6003. 800-485-6003. Call right now. That number is 800-485-6003.
If you or a loved one is suffering from a physical or emotional condition that has left you unable to work, then listen carefully. Take this number down, 800-593-7491. That's 800-593-7491. When you call, you'll speak with a Social Security disability expert and get a free evaluation to see if you may qualify for disability insurance benefits from the U.S. government. That's right, a monthly cash payment paid directly to you from the Social Security Administration. Whether you're applying for the first time or you've already been denied disability benefits, call now. The disability attorneys at Pinnacle Disability can help you build your case, file an appeal, and represent you at no upfront cost to you. Don't wait another minute to see if you may qualify for your Social Security disability benefits. Call Pinnacle Disability Group at 800-593-7491 for your free case evaluation. That's 800-593-7491. 800-593-7491. Call now.
Not too long ago, it felt good to withdraw your cash from the bank, didn't it? For a vacation or a new car. But today, withdrawing your own cash has become risky. Pat Boone here for Swiss America. According to The Secret War, a new Swiss America white paper, I learned that all banks are now required to spy on you and me for the government, and then report any financial behavior deemed suspicious or unusual. You must read The Secret War. It's free. Truth is, I believe the government's new war against cash is really a war against us all. But the secret is now out. So please, get and read The Secret War.
Pick up your phone and call right now. 800-932-5517. 800-932-5517. 800-932-5517. Once again, that's 800-932-5517.
And welcome back to Picks and Parlays Radio on this Monday afternoon here in Las Vegas. We always want to thank you for watching and listening. If you want to join us for more, we're here every day, 1 Pacific, 4 Eastern, on the Sports Byline Broadcast Network, and also Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube if you want to see the face behind the voice. We had a great show today with plenty of picks to get to, and we're going to recap them right now. Just in case you weren't paying attention, we got you covered. Starting with baseball picks from Sean Higgs. Padres at Brewers, taking the Brewers minus 155. White Sox at Twins, taking the over, 9. Mets at Rockies, taking the over at 13.5. And our college football picks with Tony T. Houston at Tulane, the Thursday night game, taking Tulane minus 5 in that one. Tennessee at Florida, a big rivalry game that Florida has dominated as of late, taking the Gators minus 14. Washington at BYU, taking Washington minus 5.5. And those are our picks for the day. We didn't have any NFL picks. I think we did the Monday night game on Friday. But it should be, I'll say interesting, because it is a bit of a dumpster fire game with the Browns and the Jets. The Browns, of course, coming off that 30-point loss to my Titans, who lost this weekend. Of course they did. They lost to the Colts. So that was fun. And the Jets have a whole lot of injuries, including Sam Darnold, who is out with mono, of all things. We'll see if Trevor Siemian can fill in, notably in his place, but they're also missing C.J. Mosley and Quinnen Williams from their defense, which I think makes a bigger difference than the quarterback position. We'll be back tomorrow afternoon at 1 Pacific, 4 Eastern, here on Picks and Parlays Radio. Bet, win, repeat. We'll see you tomorrow on Picks and Parlays Radio.